So welcome to Scrapbook Live. I'm Megan Jacks. Today is August 14th, and for today's layout, we have a fun project from the blog, the Creative Memories blog. This is a project that debuted back in March when they came out with Welcome Baby. And so the layout here, what's really fun about this particular layout, it really does play on the stickers that are part of the Welcome Baby collection. The stickers, I actually have them here. I just want to highlight it because when I first looked at this blog or this post, I was like, oh my gosh, how are they getting the designs on those round circles that are at the top and the bottom of the page? Well, one of the things I want to highlight is when you have the Welcome Baby stickers, these are the month stickers that are part of the sticker set. They actually did this. If you can see, they did like, these stickers are like double cut. See, there's a small scallop ring inside that actually says the month. And then there is this outer ring that you can include with it, or you could mix it up a little bit. So if you're wondering how do they get that scallop around as like a scallop frame all the way around, that's how they do it within the stickers of Welcome Baby. So we do have a few tools that we've had. We had the layered scallop circle, which was part of the secret box. I'm going to be using the layered scallop square, which is something that's available through Advisors. I actually have both of these available on my website if you're needing either one of the square or the circle that are the layered scallops. But today I'm going to use the square because I just felt that the circle was a little blossom-like, and I really didn't want to go to, I wanted to stay more not so blossom, I guess is the way to put it. But I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to my overhead camera and we will get started. All right, so if you looked at my sneak peek this morning, you saw that I am planning to make a layout for my middle child. We are taking them up to Northern Arizona University this coming Monday. They start their freshman year, and so they have move-in day on Monday. And so I thought I'd make a layout for move-in day. We'll have some snapshots. I probably am going to just try to get 5 or 6 photos. I'm thinking I'm going to do like 5 or 6 photos, like just square photos in the middle here. I could, if I end up doing a 4x6, I think I could peekaboo pocket it, got some flexibility in there. So really what I wanted to focus on is doing the top and the bottom borders. And as I mentioned before, I am using that layered scallop square. This is a punch that has 3 different ways that you can use the punch. You see here on the back that there's different settings for how many pieces you want. To come up a little bit closer there. So you can get a space, position 1 gets you that full-size scallop square. Position 2 gets you a frame made out of that scallop square and then an internal square, a smaller internal square. And then if you go into position 3, you actually get 3 different pieces. You get a small scallop square, a frame, and then the larger scallop square. So these are kind of fun punches. You can see the better the design there. And they're fun punches to play with. They have a circle version and a square. And what's nice about the square is that it does pair nicely with our square punch. So you can see here, I've already made some. As I was playing around this morning, I made some squares. I punched the full-size square with the square punch in white. And then I used the colors that were the cardstock that was part of the duotone cardstock. What's nice about this is that if you miss goldenrod, right? If you miss, goldenrod was a really nice university yellow, university gold. So if you have that gold, that that really saturated golden yellow color as part of a school color or a university color, this is a great pack of paper to get. I think it's still available on the website. If you've run out of goldenrod, this is going to be really a nice close match to it. So NAU, Northern Arizona University, they are the home of the Lumberjacks, which is shortened to Jacks. So it's really funny. You can find all sorts of stuff on there that says like Go Jacks or The Jacks or whatever. So in like how perfect, right? I mean, fits in with my name. But navy and the university gold, the golden color, and then some white are really their 3 main colors. If you go to their website, you're going to see those 3 colors. So I decided I would use I don't have really much goldenrod left, so I went ahead, I'm going to be using this paper. I am using the blue, the 2-tone blue. I'm using the medium side to that. So they have a light side and a medium side. If we think of, medium as compared to say navy, right? So I'm going to be using the medium side to that. I punched some pieces, and then I am using the bright white cardstock as well. All right. So everything going on here, it was kind of like trying to figure out how was I going to make this work. You can see I was messing around with using a border maker cartridge. If we look at the original layout that we're using for our inspiration here, we can see we have the circle board details at the top and the bottom, different layering. So using the layering punches works really well. The nice thing about it too is if you need to do layers, you can use a circle or the square punch. 6 of these will line up perfectly on your paper, and then you can put any other punch you want in the middle of it. Both the circle and the square hold our, put nice frames around the other punches that we have. But you will also see that there is a border detail. We have a border sticker at the top and the bottom. And that gives us a nice transition between the gingham print here and the background to the top and the bottom. So I wanted to include that border detail, but I was really struggling with trying to find one that wasn't too overpowering. I didn't really have a sticker that would work. So I was trying to figure it out, and I'm going to be using Chevron Arrows, which is a retired border maker cartridge. I'm going to be using Chevron Arrows. I liked it because I said this is like move-in day. So you just kind of, it's nice to have a little bit of motion. It's really kind of graphic and mature. That's the thing with the scallops. I didn't want to go too feminine or too young. And that's one of the reasons I kind of shied away from doing, here you can say I played with it. I tried the circle, right? I tried to see if I could get the circle to work. It won't show to focus, but I couldn't. It just wasn't the right vibe for my kid. So we're going to stick with the square. But what I'm going to do is I will be using the Chevron Arrows, and I will show you how I'm going to use it, because I'm going to use it just a little bit different and how we incorporate it in our layout. So to get started, they use the gingham print, the plaid print as the base, and then they have some 2 1/4 inch pieces at the top and the bottom of the different colored designer paper. So you can see those measurements there in step 1. I am going to do mine a little bit different. I'm actually build mine on navy. And navy is going to be exposed at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to use this medium tone paper. It's actually out of the Go Fetch paper pack, but I really liked that it was just it has that dark blue tone in it, has the medium blue tone in it. I thought that was really nice for this layout. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And it's going to sit here in the middle. So what I need to do is I need to trim this piece of paper down. And so I've already done my measurements. It's 2 1/4 at the top, 2 1/4 at the bottom. That's the exposure I'm going to have here at the top and the bottom of my navy background piece. So I need to cut this designer piece of paper to 8.5 inches tall. That is how big this gingham piece is here. So let me go ahead and I'm going to trim this down to 8.5 inches. And this is going to sit in the middle of my layout. All right, now the thing here is what I wanted to do is I mentioned that I wanted to use the Chevron Arrows. It was really nice. So I punched it. I punched it in the yellow dual tone cardstock here. It has a specific color name and I can't remember what it is. If there's any advisors out there that know the specific color of the goldenrod side of this paper, because it's the duotone, let me know. Type it in the chat so I can write it down. I threw away my thing already. I thought I could put it on here, but it's just a little too much in the yellow. I cut this off, right? I could make it just a band, but I thought it was a little too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to punch the top edge of this piece of paper and the bottom edge with my border maker cartridge. Chevron Arrows is a knockout style, meaning that it's not going to alter the top edge and it stays attached. I'm only going to punch out the chevron design here. All right. So Jenny's telling me it's called fruit cocktail. So I'm gonna have to remind myself that it's kind of maybe like the peaches. Like if you think of fruit cocktail, it's the color of the peaches, you know, a nice golden. Lemon is probably the other side if it is lemon yellow. So maybe fruit cocktail and whatever they name the other side. But I'm gonna punch both sides of this piece with my border maker system. Yeah, okay, so yep, Jenny is saying for, yep, one side is lemon and the deeper side is fruit cocktail. And it's pretty good, I would say, um, names for those colors. You know, every once in a while we get maybe a name that you're like, what? How am I supposed to remember that this is tropical waters versus some other ones, right? You know, but fruit cocktail and lemon, those will be easy enough to remember. So here we go. So I've got the top and the bottom. Now, one thing I do note here is as I put these in, I've already pre-made some of these pieces. You can see here, I was just kind of getting an idea. You don't need to see me punching and everything, but you do get to see me getting cat hair off of here. Kitty loves my desk. She will come in here and she'll just sit on my desk, and she was supervising me this morning as I was punching pieces of paper. So I'm gonna come in here. I think I did the measurements wrong. I'm off by an inch. Because I said 2 1/4. I said, see, I did bad math. I did bad math. I am off by an inch. 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4 is 4.5, which means this should be 7.5. So what I need to do in here is I'm gonna have to come in and slice off one of this. 7.5, not 8.5, 7.5. Cut that off. I'll save that for some other use and I'll repunch it. I do see a question asking why. Is there a reason that my border, this is cut or is marked 1 through 6? And there is a reason. So my tools, when I take them, well, when I do demonstrations or I take them to do as part of an event and I'm doing a make and take, sometimes, you know, I do a make and take where we only want to punch it in maybe slots 1, 3, 5. These are numbers that represent the different slots that are when you make a punch. When you use the border maker system, there are 6 spaces for you to punch in. So sometimes I'll say, we are only gonna punch 2 through 5. We're not gonna punch the quarters. So it's very easy for me to tell people where we're going to punch, and then they can see it numbered there, so they'll know when I talk about slot number 1, what I'm talking about. Go ahead and punch this, all 6 slots. All right, here we go. So that's gonna work a lot better. Gonna be nestled right in the middle. In fact, the one thing I do want to talk about here, though, one of the things I'm going to do to really accent these pieces here is I'm going to put a strip of the fruit cocktail paper behind there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I'm going to do, I think I do 3/4 of an inch, just 2 strips that are 3/4 of an inch. And I'll dry fit those in behind. I just want that chevron arrows to pop a little bit more. I could do white. I could do the lighter blue if I wanted to. We're gonna try the yellow. I'm not gonna tape anything down until I see kind of everything. I'm envisioning if I do some mattes here that I would probably do like navy mattes for the photos. So here we go. We're starting to see what that looks like. Starting to take shape. One of the things that I'm going to do, I think with the move-in photos here is, I think I'm going to use some letters in the individual spaces up here. So when I do my stuff on the bottom, I want to make sure that I'm not mirroring the top. I want my squares to be a little more random here at the bottom. I don't have all of my squares taped or put together. I did match up the pieces. I found that I needed 4 of each shape in each color. So I needed a total of, well, there's 3 times 12, so like 36 pieces total. I think that would be about right. So this is a pretty, straightforward layout. It is definitely something you can carry over into 2 pages if you needed to. You could rotate the orientation if you need to put in horizontal photos. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing yet for the photos. Like I said, it may go into 2 pages. I remember I didn't have a lot of photos when I took my oldest to get settled into school. I think I had, I had more than 1 page. So this might be just moving in literally into the dorm. So I do see Julie asking to show how to use the 3-in-1 punch, and I will show you guys how to use that here. Let me just get this piece put together, and then we will talk a little bit more about the 3-in-1 punch. All right. So here you can kind of see, I mean, that one's not going to work because it's right in line. Something along these lines. Something along those lines. That's what I'm going for, right? So you can get the idea of what that looks like. Coming in a little bit closer. And I think what's going to be really fun to do is I will be able to come in right here in the middle of all of these. And I've seen it done. Other people have done those, and I really like it. I've never really done that type of layout where the titles where you put the individual letters in like the blocks. But I always like how it looks. And so I see. Oh, I see what you're saying. So yeah, okay, so I see Debbie's talking about I've got more blue centers up top. So let me, a white. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna have to play around. The problem is I don't think I evenly made my pieces. If you know what I mean. I didn't make them identical enough. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them truly balanced out the way I probably want to, just because, I don't know. I'll have to play around with it maybe a little bit more off camera. I do appreciate that, Debbie, about just, looking to see how you have the balance. I got the whites on the outside here. Do I need to bring a white more towards the middle? Like up here, they're right next to each other. Maybe I want to try to break that up by swapping these around. So kind of play with it a little bit to get things balanced. And it is kind of nice having that overhead view. I've got some eagle eyes out there in the audience that are definitely able to see, to pick out kind of those things. So it is, can be a thing of just trying to balance it out. It probably would have been better if I had paid a little more attention when I did these to make sure I was making, like, these 2 match up. These 2 match up. Those match up. This one matches over here. And this one matches over here. So I think, yeah, you just have to kind of pay attention to where you're putting, because everything does have a pair. You just have to make sure you get the pairs opposite each other. All right, so I think that's how everything's going to come together. I probably will tape it all up off camera. Imagine I do have some space in here to be able to put some photos. I definitely can come in. I can't really do a 6-inch mat. I've got exactly 6 inches between the top and the bottom of my chevron here. And I really don't think I want to cover that up too much. So probably what I will do is focus on doing some maybe 3.5 by 5s. That would work well, or some 3.5 by, I could probably do 3 3/4 by 5.5 inch mats. let me actually grab some navy matte or some navy cardstock, because that will, one thing that can be helpful when you don't have your pictures taken is you can actually go ahead and cut your mats, and that tells you how to take your photos. Now, the one thing I do know is we're going to be working in a room, right? So options for horizontal photos might be better. We will see. Maybe I'll find, maybe these will be the photos that are, you know, us packing up the car and getting ready to go. So if I want 3 3/4 by 5.5 inch mats, I'm going to go ahead and bring this out to 5.5 inches and trim. Rotate, and I'll cut this at 3 3/4. That will let me do about a 5. Let's say I did 5.5, so 5 1/4 by 3.5 inch photo, roughly. But the thing is, it will let us see kind of what this is going to look like. So very, I mean, this just screams, to me, it screams college and, you know, or like even a high school, just school colors, right? You really highlighted those school colors. And so it just, you know, looks great there too, to do. And I do see that Deborah has the idea that you could just do a top border. You could, you know, and have more space if you needed to do this. So obviously the flexibility there on how you can do, you know, if you want more room for photos, you can do that. One of the things I could do in here, I could come in, this is obviously wider than 7. I could come in with a 5 by 7 peekaboo pocket here if I wanted to. And the 5 by 7 peekaboo pockets are nice because I could take in my, remember I have the Epson PM400. So I can print a 5 by 7 on that, and I can make a 5 by 7 collage. So I can print a lot of smaller photos and I can make a collage that fits in here. If I really want to really capture a bunch of different scenes, maybe the dorm room before and after. So there's lots of ways to get, you know, to get multiple photos in this situation. You could come in and just have smaller photos, you know, horizontal photos, smaller ones here. It really just depends on what you want to do and what your photos are, what you end up with. When I am taking the photos, one of the things I will want to remember to do is take vertical and take horizontal photos just to give myself that flexibility when it's time to actually print and choose my photos. I can say, oh, you know what? I really need a vertical photo here. Let me see what I have. Maybe I've got a close-up of my kiddos sitting at their desk in their chair, and that would be a great spot here. And then maybe I'll have some other photos that are of the room itself or other little details. So in those situations, when you're doing something like a college move-in or anything that's kind of a big, you know, especially when you have a new surroundings, a new apartment, a new home, go in and grab those detail shots of things. It's just kind of fun to see all the little, you know, all the little things that I have a whole pile of it sitting in my front living room of things they're taking to college, right? It's a lot of stuff. And so it's very fun there. All right, so this is how the layout I think is pretty much gonna go. As I mentioned, I am probably gonna come in with some letters. I need to look through my die cut, my metal dies that I have of different size and shaped letters. I really want to do it in navy, I think, and I was thinking of doing M-O-V-E, like move, and then down here at the bottom, in, just as a fun way to do it. And the one thing I need to do is I need to go on, as I mentioned, they are the lumberjacks. So I need to find something that's going to represent the lumberjacks. My oldest is a Washington State a cougar. That's their mascot. So I always use animal tracks because it works really well. But I don't have anything for NAU lumberjacks. So I'm going to have to find something. I could put in a request to Creative Memories. Can you please give me an axe punch? Otherwise, I may have to go to my cutting machine and cut some different size axes that maybe I keep in a little bin that I can use. Or maybe I'll look online and see if I can find a punch that is, I could come in, the school's in Flagstaff, it's in the pines. I could come in with a pine tree if I wanted to, you know, one of the pines. That would be fun too. All right. so here we go. That's what we've got. But I want to show you more about the 3-in-1 scalloped layered square. This is a square. They have a circle. Circle and the square work the same. They are just different shapes. All right, so I'll show you with this paper here and the fruit cocktail and lemon. So as I mentioned before, for the scallop layering square, it puts out, there's 3 different positions. I have it in the locked position. They have, if you come all the way over to position number 1, position number 1, and you can see this on the back here, position number 1 is going to make you the scalloped square. It's just it's a square that's got a scallop all the way around it. And when you punch it, you're not going to push down very far when you punch this one. It's just, that's it. That's a real little punch. And when you pull this out, it comes out with it. Nothing is going to drop through the bottom. Well, I take it back. When you punch on number 3, you'll get something that punches out the bottom. Otherwise, you got to shake out everything in the middle before you do your second punch. So here's the first punch. This size layers nicely on the regular square punch. Now, if we go to position number 2, position 2, I'm going to get my scallop square, but it's going to be a frame. You see that? It's that dark, it gives you that, it tells you the shape that it's going to get that frame. And then we're going to have an internal square. So I got to move it over to position number 2. And I'm going to punch again. And this time it's going to punch a little deeper. And I got to convince it to kick out it didn't kick out my frame. Let me get that out of there. There we go. So now you can see I've got the frame, the scallop frame, and then we've got an internal square. This double-sided cardstock, the dual tone cardstock works nicely because you can just layer that right there. You can see the 2 different pieces. Next up with position number 3, there's position number 3. I'm actually going to get 3 different pieces. I'm going to get the outside frame. I'm going to get an inside frame now. This square here is going to have something punched out of the middle, so it's going to have a square or a frame. And then the inside, I'm going to have an inside small scallop square. It shows a little bit bigger here. You can see I'm going to have a frame. The blue piece is going to be another frame. It's going to have a scallop on the inside of the frame though, and then I'll have a scallop square. So I'm going to move it over to position 3. I'm going to punch all 3 pieces. It'll punch everything. And this is going to be your deepest punch. And there's all 3 pieces. So I've got my scallop frame. I've got another frame that's got a little more of an internal scallop to it. It layers. And then we come in with that small scallop square in the middle. So these are all 3 pieces together. And I just used a duotone cardstock, so I was able to just flip one piece over. If you're using regular cardstock, if you wanted to accent the different colors that you've got some options. You can leave out that lighter frame and come in, we grab, I'm going to use the square punch. I'm going to go ahead and punch you could come in, put this on here, and then you could just leave out that center punch and you could have a frame like such. So there's really, really a lot of things that you can do with these punches and utilize them, and they do kind of work nice together. This particular frame works really, really well with the Ancient Key Border Maker cartridge. I have highlighted that before. I cannot scroll over to my BMCs to find it, but you know, the Ancient Key Border Maker cartridge is really, really pretty, and the individual squares of it, and actually will work almost with any of the, here it is. I needed to show you using, I think it's in here. I did a layout with the, here. So this, here you see the scallop, and see how it frames out the Ancient Key border maker cartridge, right? So it really does a nice job doing with the, to do that. But it's also the nice size that you can frame out other parts. If you wanted to frame out one of the stars on the BMC, if you have the star BMC, I'm looking for other ones that you can use to kind of use the bigger square to frame out little bits of things. So it really does work well. I'm trying to think, I'm looking over now at my border maker system cartridges to see which other ones that it would work really well with if you wanted to frame it out. Sunshine BMC, Star BMC would work really well. I think I've used it on something that had hearts and I was able to frame out the heart. But Sunshine BMC, you'd be able to come in and frame out one of those suns. So you can just kind of play around with it when you want to draw detail to the thing. Also probably works if you need to make a belt buckle for Santa, Santa's belt or things like that. So very exciting. I love you guys helping me out, looking up on somebody I think looked in Design Space for what they could find. And then for the axe details, and then Cynthia's mentioning that I should look up Paul Bunyan. Yes, I'm going to have to be looking up some ideas there. Their mascot is a lumberjack, obviously. His name is Louie, Louie the lumberjack. And so I will have some fun. I'm sure he's got to be Paul's cousin, right? Maybe Paul's little cousin, because I don't think Louie is like a ginormous person who, you know, went around through the parts of northern Arizona and put in a bunch of lakes like Paul did in Minnesota. All right, I do see that I have a question asking about the secret box. I have not received mine yet. I have seen a sneak peek of it. I'm very excited to get it and to play with it and see things. So I will have details for those of you who want to know. If you're just that type of person who needs to know before you commit your dollars, I understand. So later today or maybe tomorrow, go ahead and reach out to me and I will be able to share the details with you. But it is very exciting. It does, you can tell the colors of the pack. You can see the colors in the marketing. So you see that we've got like pumpkin and we've got tangerine and we've got brown and we've got some dark sea green in there. Those are colors that are in Croptoberfest. I am not saying one way or the other of how things will interact with each other. Please don't take, because you can tell. Croptoberfest, we've got the truck, we've got the fall, we are going for a country vintage theme, and then we've got not country vintage if you look at the graphics of the secret box, but just in terms of the colors. That you know, there's going to be I imagine some overlap, but just based on colors. Please don't take that for anything more, because I have seen an overall view of the secret box. I have not seen specific details, really intimate, like looking at things. But I will have that information available. Give me till tomorrow to have it available for those of you who are just dying to know. But as a reminder, if you have the secret box, if you do get a sneak peek of it, please do not share that anywhere publicly. I always tell people when I send you a sneak peek, I want you to not share that with anybody. I want you to keep it. It's just for you. If you know somebody who wants to see it, refer them to me. There's no commitment or anything when I share it with them. I just want to make sure that it stays a secret for those who want it to be a secret. All right. So, oh, Christina's saying I could do moving day at the top because it's the 6, I've got 6 spots, and yeah, I could do moving because I knew I couldn't do move in, at the top, all one word. It would look kind of weird. But I'll play around with it a little bit. So Kim's asking about how you can send me a PM. Please, I do not have it available right now. PM me tomorrow. All right. I will have a efficient way to share tomorrow with you, but I've just got to have time. I don't have the box yet. And I want to make sure I have the box to be able to detail that. So, All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody, today. I will see you. I believe I should be able to see you next week. I don't think there's anything on my calendar that's going to be prohibit me from doing Scrapbook Live next week. Move-in day is on Monday. I'm literally driving up to Flagstaff with my kiddo and then driving home. And so it's the nice part about having to go from Phoenix to Flagstaff. It's only a couple hours. I live on the north, more on the north side of Phoenix. So it's only a couple hours to get up there as compared to when I took my son to Pullman we lived in Everett, and driving from Everett to Pullman is a solid 5.5 hours. And half of that is on 2-lane, like just middle of nowhere highway. So the drive to Flagstaff is all interstate. It's so much nicer. So I'm very excited. Yes, Flagstaff is a lovely town. I'm not, I lived in Arizona for years and we didn't spend a lot of time in Flagstaff. But my son, my oldest, was spending quite a bit of time there this summer. His girlfriend is actually an NAU student, so she had a summer internship up there, so he would go up and see her in Flagstaff. And he was telling us about the things that they did up there. And so I'm really excited about my college freshman to live up there. I think it's going to be a great experience, lots of things to do. They're very outgoing and assertive type of person. So I really think they'll have fun getting involved in college and all that fun stuff. So I'm very excited for them and can't wait to hear the stories. I'm sure I will hear more from this child than I did from Kevin, who he talked to me like once every couple weeks. This kiddo I hear more from on a regular basis, I am sure. All right. Thanks for joining me. I will see you guys all next week. Tessa and I do have Croptoberfest. We had Power Hour last night. If you got the email today, I don't know if she talked, we still haven't confirmed. I don't know. I need to read the email and see whether we decided on dates. We talked about dates. I don't know I told her to kind of choose. Her schedule is usually a little bit more convoluted than mine. But we will have a Croptoberfest project workshop. It'll be a free workshop. It'll be doing everything part of Croptoberfest customer bundle. That customer bundle will be available end of this month. There will be a free shipping promo. So that will be, great time if you have some things you want to stock up on before the start of the fall scrapping season. And also on the 26th, we will see the new photo trimmer will become available by itself. And we will also see the new fall collection. It's called Autumn Cottage. Autumn Cottage is the name of it. It looks really pretty. And I feel like I saw there is a new punch coming out. It's a regular punch. It's not a border punch. We saw it as part of the Croptoberfest sneak peek. It has to do with pumpkins. It's super cute. We saw like an overall view of it. We didn't get to see specific details, but I zoomed in, right? I wanted to see what it was, and it looks really cute. Okay, that's all I've got for you guys today. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Have a scrappy, wonderful week, and I will see you guys all next week. Thanks for watching.